We got some interesting news to get into, DPS charts to review, this current state of Mythic Plus to talk about, and a few little classic Andy tidbits here and there. If you are excited for Miss Pandaria Classic, I don't know, are you in the minority, majority? I don't know who's excited about this, but some people are. It's time to sign up for the beta. That's right, the beta for the game that was already released a long time ago is about to happen, and you can sign up to be part of that beta. Don't forget, you can also repurchase Miss Pandaria, that's right, and get your little upgrade pack here with all these wonderful little goodies and items here. Look, I don't fault Blizzard for doing this kind of shit. People love it, people get into it, and they're going to make money off of it, so why not? Blizzard also confirms Season of Discovery for all you other classic, alternate universe Andys out there. Phase 8 is not the final phase of Classic, that's right. Which possibly means that Classic Plus, the official version of Classic Plus, is just around the corner. That's right, advancing further into Classic's lore and everything else, and delving into new lore that comes with Classic could be just around the corner for all of you people who enjoy playing this version of the game. That's right, I'm not gonna lie, the Scarlet Monastery raid is something I always wanted in the retail version of the game, and I'm very happy that Blizzard finally went and did it. Unfortunately, it's in an alternate Classic universe of the game, but it's a pretty damn cool thing. I think this is going to be pretty damn fun, and for everybody who enjoys this version of the game, congratulations, it's going to continue on. Blizzard's pumping time and money into this thing. Moving on to the current game. The version of the game that matters most to me, retail, WoW. Let's check out the DPS charts. We did have a bunch of movement post nerfs and buffs that came around with the recent patch release. There was a bunch more that happened here, so week 5's got some, kind of settling in for all these classes here. So let's talk about this real quick. Overall damage, Affliction Warlock, the new king. That's right, just last week we had crowned, what was it, Outlaw Rogue? I forgot which class was the top tier, and now everything's flipped upside down, it looks like. Affliction Warlock made a huge jump to the top. I think they were about 7 spots down previously, and now they're way up in the top. So congratulations to Affliction Warlock. This is overall damage, so again, this includes AoE and things, so yeah. Affliction Warlock doing really good in AoE. That's good for them. Followed by Survival Hunter, Devastation Evoker, Marksmanship Hunter, Windwalker, Monk. Hunter's doing really good, and Monk's actually doing pretty damn good. Unless you're tanking with one, then it's complete shit. Unholy DK. We have seen Unholy DK's pump numbers that are absolutely insane. We're talking 30 mil DPS. We saw that video. And we've seen him in Raid pumping really hard too, so Unholy's doing really good. I actually think they're even better in single target. We'll check that chart out here in a second. Fire Mage doing pretty damn good. Ass, Rogue, Destro, Warlock, Outlaw, Rogue. So the Rogues aren't doing bad, but they were just at the top. I don't know what's going on here. And then at the very bottom, we got Augmentation Evoker. I don't know what's going to happen with Augmentation. Are they just going to turn it into a tanking class? I mean, is anyone still playing Augmentation at this point? They were the darlings of Mythic Plus. And now they just seem completely unviable. I don't know what's going to happen with Augmentation personally. Augs are dead. Yeah, basically. And then you got Arcane Mage, Demonology, Warlock, Balanced Druid, Frost Mage down here at the bottom. And then you got your Shaman specs, which for the first season were top tier, basically top 5. And now they're mid to low. So it is what it is there. Retribution Paladin sitting right there in the middle. But as I've said before, and I'll say it again, skill matters more than these damn charts, especially for the regular people out there. The denizens of Azeroth. As Cadence is saying, yeah, but Ret is consistently top 5 on our top 5. He's right. He's right. We've seen plenty of Ret Paladins come into our raids and absolutely pump their dicks off. So this is, take it with a grain of salt. Fun to look at, but not necessarily based on what you should play. Damage to bosses. Here we go. Single target damage and Survival and Marksmanship Hunter are taking the cake here. Look at that. Not only are they going to pull before your countdown timer hits 0, they're going to pump. So that's pretty damn good. Survival actually taking a big jump here. My God, what's the difference? This is 90, so I would say Marksmanship right here is probably at a 92.5, 93, and then you got 95. So about a 2-point difference here, 2 percentage point difference between Survival and Marksmanship, and then the drop-off here starts to happen. But Survival is absolutely gangbusters right now. Arms Warrior, Ass, Rogue, Fire Mage, Unholy DK, as I said before, doing really, really big numbers right now. Beast Mastery, Affliction Warlock, who is currently sitting at the top, as we saw just in the overall chart, but a little bit lower here on the single target shot charts. Feral Druid, doing not too bad. Again, at the bottom here, Augmentation Evoker, we see Balanced Druid, Elemental Shaman, Shadow Priest. Shadow Priest also needs some love. Now, I said it before, maybe they're going to get it in the Midnight expansion. I don't know, but right now they've kind of been down and down. Frost Mage, Demonology, Warlock, Enhancement Shaman, Sub-Titty Rogue, and Furry Warrior. That's right. So not too bad. Again, Rhett's sitting here in the middle. Seen him come in and pump before. Same with Havoc Demon Hunter. Seen him come in and pump. Not necessarily the end of the world just because you're in the middle of this chart. Week 4 of Arcane being just above Augmentation on the tier list. Yes, Arcane has not been that viable. It really hasn't. Now, Fire is doing pretty damn good right now. Fire is, and we've seen actually that Fire and Frost Mage were the meta right now in Mythic Plus. Frost was actually taking a slight edge, but based on these numbers, it looks like Fire is going to surpass them because they've gotten some damn buffs. Let's see what the movement is based on what we previously looked at here. So as I said before, Affliction Warlock moved up a lot. They moved up 6 spots to take the #1 spot. Previously, #1, as I said before, was Outlaw Rogue, moving down 9 spots. They are actually the biggest mover down besides Furry Warrior. So that's insane, man. 9 spots down is a huge move. The biggest mover up is actually not Affliction Warlock. It is, in fact, Destro Warlock. So Warlocks, both classes getting buffed, or both respects getting buffed pretty damn good. Demonology still sitting here at the bottom because Blizzard doesn't like people to have fun, and Demonology is a lot of fun for people to play. So they're sitting at the bottom right now, but I'm not going to feel bad for Warlocks with 2 specs sitting in the top 10 here. They're doing pretty damn good. Wait, Rhett dropped 7 spots. Yes, that's what it looks like here. 7 spots down from the previous week. Again, some of you guys are saying, when did these things hit? There were a bunch of hotfixes that we talked about not too long ago. A little bit of changes that went into not this week's reset, but the previous week's reset, because that's what affects these numbers. So yeah, there's been some dancing going around. There was also some tier set changes and stuff like that. So yeah, it affects the numbers. It affects where these classes currently stand. But overall, some big changes and big moves around, and a new king of your DPS charts here, Affliction Warlock, sitting at the very top. But my class nerfs all other classes. Look, as I said before, Retribution, and every class on this chart can be played to its maximum and played in much. Unless you're playing Augmentation Evoker, why are you still doing that to yourself? I don't know why the hell you would still be playing Augmentation, but that is all for these charts here. Now, looking at Mythic Plus. Overall, current state of it, how it's looking pretty good and pretty average, I guess, based on the rest of these seasons that we've looked at before. This chart right here really breaks down the drop-off from season 1, from the first week, right? So a good season, you know, we'll have some better player retention, whereas bad seasons will drop off harder and quicker. Looking previously right here, Dragonflight Season 4, right? That was the only season that actually saw an uptick from week 1 to week 2. I believe there was some type of dungeon event or something that happened in week 2 that got more people to join in and play. This was season 4, by the way. So it was the very end of Dragonflight. You could have also had the announcement for the War Within and everything else going down, so people came back and started playing more. That could have been the reason there. Other than that, Sam reads? Not really. Other than that, everyone pretty much drops off. Now, we're focused right now on the Blue Line, Season 2 of the War Within. Looking right here, you see a bit of a drop, and then it starts to pick up again. Now, week 4, we did have a Dungeon Quest event, so that'll typically lead to more people playing Mythic Plus, and then a pretty hard drop-off after that. Fatigue usually sets in. After an uptick, you get a drop. So it's really falling in line right now with Season 1 in terms of drop-off. Season 1 also had a dungeon event in week 5, so that kind of led to their player retention right here. But overall, falling in line with what we've typically seen overall. Damn, look at that drop-off for Dragonflight from week 3 to 4. Holy crap. That is huge. 40% drop-off there. Wow. Overall, the season seems pretty damn healthy for the most part. Again, we've talked about these charts before, sitting and looking at current, balance across the board for these dungeons and where they currently lie and what people's favorites are. Cinderbrew Meadery remains the favorite for everybody to run, while Theater of Pain remains the least favorite for people to run. Not much changes here. Split across keys. We've seen this before, and we're looking at it again. Yeah, plus 10, of course. That's what everyone's running. That's where you max out your vault and everything else. Currently looking at timed keys and everything else. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Completed and timed, syncing up pretty nicely there. People are finding this season to be much easier. And that's also indicated by this chart right here. Looking at this chart, you basically see where the average key level is for the season. So Season 1, you saw an average key level of about a 5 here, and then obviously it's going to continue to go up as people get more geared out and learn the routes and everything else. Currently sitting right now, we are at about a, what is this, a 6, 7 to a 9, so about two key levels higher on average for people running this this season. That's 7 to 8.7. That's what we're seeing, so almost 2 key levels higher. Now, I will say, there is extra incentive to run higher keys this season because of the 3K IO, you know, mount and everything else that didn't exist in Season 1. So you can attribute some of that to the reason why people were seeing higher key levels typically this season. But overall, this season I think is just an easier season as well, so people are going to run higher keys. In conclusion, despite tuning problems for certain bosses, all the dungeons are still shaping up quite well. The overall progression through key levels isn't only doing much better, but also developing faster than during the previous season. The new 3K, that's what I was saying, the 3K rating is associated with depletion protection, and depletion protection for higher keys seems to be a good incentive for players to push higher key levels. I totally agree with that. Not only are the dungeons easier, these extra incentives always push people higher. As of writing this article, after the US reset, the hourly numbers look quite good for this week. For the US and EU regions, we see a 9% and 4.5% drop-off, which looks really good. Usually we see around a 15% drop-off in this week, so that's pretty damn good. Key levels 10 represent close to 30% of all keys run, with more than 83% of those being timed, but also 11 and 12s are each already making up about 10% of the completed keys. So yeah, pushing higher keys, doing more keys, that's the whole theme of this season. And overall, pretty good season so far. We'll see if the numbers continue to hold up.